Hello, everyone. Oh, don't you love that new countdown? I assume you do because no one's told me otherwise yet. And why would anyone hate anything that I did? That's what confidence is for, right? Anyway, welcome to Serious and Sober. Today we're going to get serious and sober about the non-binary identity and asexuality. What? How am I going to do that? Well, today is our first intercontinental show, and I have imported Amy Sutton all the way from across the pond. And she's time traveling for us. She's in the future. It is 1 a.m. where she is. So I'm drinking coffee in solidarity to help her stay up. And I am just going to assume that she's drinking coffee too. They're drinking coffee too. As far as I know about the pronouns, I believe they use all of them. So anyway, I got some validation for the countdown, and now we are going to bring in Amy.
Hello. Hi. Yes,
yeah, it is.
Caffeine is very important.
Oh yeah, it's 8 p.m. and I'm just like, oh, I gotta stay up. I did take a big old nap, which was nice. It was one of those like oh, it's 4:30. I will lay down until about 5. I think I'm at 6:30.
That is a good afternoon. That is an afternoon well spent.
Oh yeah, I fell asleep and I was cuddling my cat and he was kneading my chest and I was just like, I love this. My life is amazing. And I woke up and I was just like doing my dramatic stretch. And as I'm finally thinking I'm gonna pull myself up, he jumps back on my chest and starts kneading again. And I'm just like, all right. And that's how I made it to 6:30.
Oh. All right. Now, yeah. I also have my caffeine here because at least in the versions that I know of Never Have I Ever, you have to drink if you have done it. That's the version I know.
Yes. Well, we are playing not Never Have I Ever, meaning that the rules are pretty much whatever I want because I'm in charge.
Counting Never Have I Ever. I love it.
So not Never Have I Ever would go never have I ever, or not never have I ever initiated sex.
I guess I have initiated sex before. That is a thing I have done.
So you would take a drink.
Okay, I got it. You know what? I'm gonna drink anyway. Yes, that's definitely a thing that I have done before. Less recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about asexuality because I am I'm not hypersexual because that's an actual diagnosis, but I am what the kids would call a bit of a slut. But and it's just so I just love this the comparing of just our different experiences because it's something that for me obviously I can understand the idea that someone wouldn't be interested in something because that is how humans work, because people are complex and interesting.
You'd be surprised how few people can get to grips with just that starting point. So that's good.
Yeah, that's why I'm special and get to conduct the interview.
Oh, yeah, it's I don't know. This is kind of how I think this is how I've always been. I think little Amy, when I was very young, I just had it all really very straightforward, and then it all got really complicated as I grew up. Yeah, for me, it's that's always been the baseline in terms of how I experience sexual attraction. That it's just never been for anybody. And like for me as well, this isn't true for all asexual people, but that kind of goes hand in hand with kind of not being very interested in having sex, like at all. And like because of like who I was seen to be when I was growing up, and like the fact that I grew up in a like religious background, this was considered like a really, really good thing. This was a good thing to be until you hit a certain age, and then like it's not a good thing to be anymore, and like it's a bit weird and a bit strange, and like maybe you need to go and get yourself fixed. So yeah, that was my that's part of my journey at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few friends like when I think back on them now, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're definitely like that. Because like now I have the language for it, so I'm just like it was always just like oh, they're just so innocent and sweet.
Yes, yes.
It's like I know like some people who identify as asexual who like overcompensate with sexuality in regard to like making jokes about it constantly. Like I know for a fact one of my friends that is watching this is feeling particularly called out.
Well, also, I mean, like the flip side of it is for a lot of, well, certainly for some asexual people, like the whole concept of sex is a bit weird and like a bit funny in and of itself. Like, you know, I think that's kind of a more general understanding. We laugh at, yeah, there is comedy within sex. There is definitely humor to be found there. And I think that within the ace community, there is a very specific kind of humor to be found there, because it's like, what is this? Why does anyone else think it's so important? And so I know other ace people who do joke about sex a lot because like just it tickles them specifically in that way.
Absolutely, it makes sense. It goes from like for me, I'm just like, haha, funny sex, get it, honk honk, and like that's great. But then I would imagine that it would take on like the role of absurdist humor.
Yeah.
At one point, because it's just like for me, I can appreciate a good titty because I'm just like, oh yes, honk honk. But then it's just like, oh, but what is the reason of the honk honk? And I know about that. So, ooh.
Like Dadaism and surrealism.
Exactly. Oh, are you ready to begin?
I am so ready. Yes,
okay.
I'm excited.
Let's get caffeinated. All right, so because I love to show off my die, I am using my very fancy trans dice, where the white is glitter because
of course.
Right, and I have my numbered questions 1 to 12, and we are going to see what happens.
See what happens.
Ooh, number 11, starting high.
Okay.
Not never have I ever, just met the right person.
Oh, I love this one. I love this one because I know a lot of aces get this one when they're particularly at that vulnerable point where they're starting to go, oh, I think maybe like that I just don't like anybody. And often a well-meaning older person will go, oh, no, it's all right. You just haven't met the right person yet. And when you find them, the heavens will open and the birds will sing and it'll all be wonderful and you'll get straight down to bonking then and there. And the thing is, I am kind of a living disproof of that because I have found the right person and been in a long-term relationship with them, during which I discovered that like what I am is asexual. And it turns out that, you know, that the two things do not line up. Like you do not get like changed in your sexual orientation by finding somebody that you are romantically aligned with.
Yeah, I am coming from the other side. I can like I have this fun magic power where like I can enjoy sex with anyone. Like it just I hear that like sometimes people like can't climax with like certain partners or like certain things or whatever, and I'm just like in it to win it all the time.
I'm learning so much. This is so exciting.
Yeah. And it's just like I'm aware how great this is because it's not like that with everyone.
Oh, well, I mean, like, I know, like from my side of the ballpark, if you like, that there are a lot of people who go, well, I think I guess I must be like bi or pan because like I experience the same amount of attraction for all genders, which is none, and so that's often a journey that people go through.
Yeah, I've had like because like I'm pansexual, so I just like as my mom once elegantly put, yeah, you name it, rail fuck it, and I'm like,
your mom sounds amazing.
Oh, my mom is a treat. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, I was totally going to say something else, but that's funny enough to just move on. So
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's see. I got 11 again, so I'm just going to jump to 12.
Okay.
All right. Never have I ever had sex.
Well, I have had sex. So wait, does that mean I drink or I don't drink?
You drink.
I drink. I always drink. The answer is always drink. Yes, like I've had and continue to have sex. So a lot of people get a bit confused about this. Like the kind of simplistic understanding is that like if you're asexual, it means that you don't like sex, and that you don't have sex. And that's, while there's often a lot of overlap there, it's not that, it's more nuanced than that. Asexuality as a term just means that like you don't experience sexual attraction for anybody. And so that doesn't rule out romantic attraction. And it doesn't rule out having a sex drive. There are people who like, they really like the idea of sex, just not like linked to any particular like person. There are definitely asexuals who masturbate. There are asexuals who have partners that they will have sex with. There's some overlap in the like ace and kink community. And yes, like for me, because I only really found out what my sexual orientation was maybe 6-7 years ago now. I don't know how time works anymore in this pandemic, but
time's fake.
Up until that point, I had like this like kind of culturally ingrained idea that it's like, if you are romantically interested in someone, then you are also sexually interested in them. And if you are going to be in a relationship with them, then you should be having sex with them. Otherwise, you are just friends. And it's been a lot of unpacking all of that down to like component parts and finding out like what actually serves me.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah, and like connecting it to the kink community, that's something that it's just like as you said it, I was like, yes, of course, that makes so much sense, but it's not something that I've actively realized before. But I was just like, yes, because like I know asexuals who are into kink. Mm-hmm. And I know people who like don't even identify as asexuals, but they would say like they're only able to enjoy sex when it is like through the realm of kink, because they just don't experience it's not that they don't experience attraction, but it's like they don't experience one of the other connectors.
Yeah.
So many, and I love it. I find all of this just amazing. Is like and especially as just someone who's been super sexy their whole life.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we aces can be pretty sexy. We can be pretty sexy if we want to be.
Of course, and I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying that I am who I am as a person.
No, and absolutely. I think one of the things for me has been kind of redefining what sex means, because my partner is allosexual, which means that like not asexual. So they have sexual attraction to people. And being in that kind of a relationship means that you have to have lots of conversations about like consent and boundaries, and like, yeah, you have to really have a look at where your unconscious biases are for like what counts as a relationship. And that for me was, I mean, kind of initially when I got into this relationship, I believed that I was a broken person. And so I was like, okay, so I'm broken and I really struggle, but I'm going to get myself fixed. I'm going to go to all the best doctors and I'm going to like whatever, because like I love you so much and we're going to make this work. And it was only really through my partner being like, whoa, we're not going to do anything that you're not interested in. We're not going to do anything that like you're not in the mood for, that you're not excited about, that you're not like actively saying yes to. That kind of really blew my mind, because I had so much like ingrained stuff in terms of like what it is to be in a relationship with somebody. And it was through exploring that like consent, if you like, and those changing boundaries that I was able even to come around to finding the language for like how I feel.
Yeah, and like that is amazing. I'm so happy that you had a partner that was like patient and willing to help you with that, because that like patience is such a huge like factor in it. Like I've had a handful of abusive relationships, like mental, sexual, etc. They've been not fun. So I have some things that I also have to work through, and that I've also gone into a relationship being like, I'm a broken person and I'm going to do my best to be better. And I like, it's just, and so it's just like I can relate to that idea of just slowly learning how to be with a partner, instead of just being like, well, this is what we're supposed to do, so we'll just do it. And
yes,
it's just so like every experience is unique and different and beautiful and wonderful, and don't just do what has worked in the past. Don't do what you think should work. Just do what you're feeling, and then it will work on its own.
exactly. You got it right. Like, this is the thing. Everybody needs this. I think this is one of the things actually that within the ACE community, I say we've got a better handle on. I can't speak for everybody, but it's kind of because of where we're starting from. A lot of us have to deal with looking at consent in intimate relationships in ways that the general populace don't, even within like the wider LGBTQ plus communities. And I think there is wisdom to be found here. Hello.
Yeah, definitely. And that's like exactly why I love doing, that's why I do the shows, because like I want to talk about things, because like, as I've made very clear, this is something that like I've Googled. I do not, I need help too.
I mean, I really, if I could give more people like the sexual wisdom that I have hard won over the last couple of years, I would, because I think everybody can benefit from this. It sort of doesn't matter who you are, to be able to say, if you're in a romantic relationship with somebody, part of what consent is being able to never have sex, if that's like what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a radical thing to say at the moment, but if you can start working from that point, you can get to places that are, like you're saying, like just much more connected and much nicer and more, unique to that relationship, and more satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I feel like we're gonna we'll answer my questions if we don't stop. So I'm gonna roll.
Sorry, we
Oh
got
no,
the dice rolling. It's really important.
yeah, you're being too thorough.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll be more mysterious, more aloof.
I like both options. So do what you feel.
But no, I need me the dice rolling. I'm feeling the D&D vibes strong tonight.
Alrighty. All right, number 8. Never have I ever been called a slut.
Oh, now I think that I may not have been called a slut. My goodness me. I think like probably like at some point, but definitely not as a general thing. Like way over the opposite way. Like I've been called a prude, and I've been called frigid, and I've been called a tease, because like I get myself all dressed up and pretty, and then go out somewhere, and nowadays when people start chatting me up, I'll just say, hey, I'm not interested that way. And if they push it, I'll be like, I'm asexual. And I've had people say to me, oh, what a waste. It's like, oh, wow, what high regard you must have for yourself, that like my only function was for your sexual pleasure. But yeah, no, slut is not one that I get called.
Yeah, when I wrote that one, I was thinking of just like that when people get rejected and they do that flip. So I'm just like, oh, you're probably just a slut anyway. Like, because I want you. You're valuable because I want what's in between your legs, but you won't give it to me, which means that it probably what I want is probably not valuable anyway. And then, or you could just not objectify every person that you visualize as an attractive person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes people are just nice to look at, and that's a cool thing. You don't have to fuck everything that you like to look at.
Right. I used to have one, like, before I properly understood like my sexual orientation, where, because I get when people are pretty, I get when people are hot, and so I'd be like, oh, this person, they're really cute, and people would be like, oh, well, why don't you go and try and chat them up? And I was like, look, I can appreciate the artwork in the gallery without wanting to buy it and take it home.
Yeah. Or there was one that one of my uncle's ex-girlfriends used to say when like she'd take me to the mall and like she'd be looking at cute boys, and I'd be like, aren't you dating my uncle? And she would look at me and she'd say, just because I'm on a diet doesn't mean I can't look at the menu.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, and then I grew up to be polyamorous, so I'm just like, I will share every meal.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think there's one that you'll often see going around on kind of ace groups online about trying to define what the difference is between asexuality and celibacy and abstinence, because a lot of people kind of lump those all together. And that it's like, if you imagine that it's in terms of like the desire is for like something to eat, like a donut, then like someone who's asexual like doesn't want to eat donuts. Like that's not their thing. They're not interested in that at all. And like somebody who is celibate would love to eat that donut, but like, yeah, they're on a diet, so it's not happening. Oh,
that's a good way to put it, where it's just like you're either not interested in the donut, choosing not to eat the donut, and then maybe the donut's just not available to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in theory it would be great, but just I haven't met the right donut.
Oh.
All right. Not never could I ever live without sex.
Oh my God. Oh, again, this is one that comes up a lot. That it's like, but you have to have sex. But sex is like it's a basic human need. How can you not need sex? And yeah, like ain't nobody ever died from not having sex. Like you don't die from lack of sex. It's a big deal for a lot of people, I have heard, apparently, but it is not a big deal for everybody. And yeah, you know, not even in terms of sex drive, for some people, not even that is part of their day-to-day existence, and it's good. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people kind of imagine that if you're asexual or aromantic, that like there's kind of a lacking, that you're missing out on stuff. And particularly with things like that, it's like, but you need this. Like this is an important part of like existing, and it's like we're not missing out. We're not like lacking in anything. It's like we've reached that level of satisfaction earlier. That's all it is. Like we're totally content. We're doing good. We got stuff going on.
Yeah. It's not a missing nutrient. Like you're not like. Yeah.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
Like, I actually like I did date someone who like they needed sex. Like it was just like they just like had to, like if I couldn't provide, they would have to go in the other room and take care of it themselves. And I was just like, okay, actually I've dated two people like that. Oh my God, what one was I been talking about? They're both awful. But it was just like this thing where it's like every day I need to do this or I can't focus, I'm angry, I'm stressed, and I'm just like, I think you need to like maybe jog. It's just like it was clear, like I don't think it was like I think it was like a combination of hormones, because like they were going through HRT, so it could have been that plus just like being like having an active sexuality, like sex drive mixed with either way. It was not the healthiest thing for either of us. There was, oh my gosh, there was this one really, really awkward thing, because like we had a friend over who was someone that we would have shared experience with, but they ended up like I started dating her, and so it was just so like she would come over and we'd visit, and then my former partner would be like, let's have sex, and she was just like not into them. So she'd just be like, I'm not in the mood. So on this one particular time, we're like in the kitchen, and like her and I are like cooking together, and we're having this cute time, and they just go like, well, since you don't want to have sex with me, I'm gonna go have sex with me. And they go to do their own thing and whatever. And then my girlfriend gets like a bit of a headache, and like because like we're cooking, we're laughing, and she goes like would you mind if I just like lay down until dinner's ready? And yeah, go ahead. Forgetting what just happened.
Oh no.
So I finish up like not thinking about any of this, just thinking like, oh yes, going to see napping girlfriend, and oh yeah, partner, that is ooh. So I like slowly opening the door, just like have no idea what to expect. And it's just like she's just like on her side, just you're just like laid out like on the other half of the bed, like, oh yeah, she just got a show, and she's just like,
oh no, oh my goodness, oh yeah. Gosh, oh. It's funny that you say that, because like we have a similar, I say this is going to sound bad to start with, we have a similar thing in my relationship where like one of the really good things that we've gotten to now is that if my partner is like, hey, would you be interested in like coming in and having sex? And I'm like, nah. They're like, great, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be in the bed, I'm gonna be on my own, It's cool. If you change your mind, like come and join in, but like there's absolutely no pressure to do so. And like, so it's really interesting to hear exactly the same like dialogue, but in a really different context.
Yeah, because it's just like again, like even though I do have like a very active sex drive, like there are times where I just don't want to have sex. So like even like now with like my present healthy partners who like know how to accept no, which is amazing. It's this cool trick. And they'll just be like, okay, don't worry, like don't worry about it. I'm just like, wow. It was like after I left like one of the former abusive partners, there was just this instant where I was with like a new partner, and we were just like kind of like they were sleeping over and kind of fooling around, but I was just in that like I just kind of want to kiss and cuddle. And they were just like, oh, okay. And just like gave me like this tight hug. And I just started crying.
Yep, I've been there. I've been there. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, like being able to, it shouldn't be a radical thing, right? It shouldn't be a radical thing that you go, hey, I have these specific boundaries today. And someone goes, great, let's just be within those boundaries. Like when that first starts happening, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, he ended up like he like I think that moment turned him into a feminist, honestly. Because he was just like just so like he literally went from the oh, doesn't the wage gap like exist because women choose those lower paying jobs to Jordan Peterson is garbage. And like and I think it was this moment because he was just totally like, I just can't believe that you've had so many experiences that like crying is your reaction to my kindness.
Yeah.
And like he was just mad. And like, oh, it was a very powerful moment for both of us, I think. I know. Yeah.
No, big same, big same.
Yeah.
Oh, so many moments of being like, I'm so sorry, I know I'm crying on you, but I'm actually just really happy.
I cry over everything. It's just like I'm too happy, I'm too sad, I'm angry. I hate angry crying. Don't you know? Don't you know what a serious thing this is?
Oh.
Oh. All right, I'm going to cheat and do number one because never have I ever been pressured into sex that I wasn't interested in by a partner.
Like this is a really tricky one because like I don't think I've ever been pressured into sex by a partner as much as I have pressured myself into having sex. Like particularly before I'd discovered what asexuality was, like there was this huge like internal pressure that I had about like what a relationship was supposed to be. And I think we said something about this a little bit earlier, that like for some people that pressure turns into kind of overperforming, and like I am a performer and I got really good at performing like being sexy and being interested in having sex, and like just got like into this really good routine of like being like that and then just like dissociating during the actual sex itself. So like I didn't have to think about it. It wasn't like my body that it was happening to, and then just dealing with the fallout on my own afterwards. And so it's really difficult, I think, when you come out of the other side of that and you go, oh, like holy shit, I have messed myself up. You know, it wasn't, you know, I know it was a thing that happened with these partners, but it's not like they, from their side of things, were doing everything right. They were being kind and lovely and enthusiastic and everything. And like, it was my side of things that I was causing so much damage to myself. Yeah. And you just go, oh God, like I can't, where do you put your rage for that? You know, where do you put your grieving process? Because you did it to you. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, I like despite being like the sexual person that I am, I didn't start having like sex until I was like 18. So before that I was very like sex is for like the bad kids.
Yes.
And but then I was just like, once I was 18, it was more acceptable. It was okay. And I had a lot of struggle. Like I was dating like one of the formerly abusive partners that I mentioned, who is like the heart, like the thing that breaks my heart is that like to him, he has no idea what he did because he was like a messed up 19, 20-year old.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and it's one of those situations where like what he did wasn't right. And just because of like it's been like 10 years and I'm able to look back on it now and go like, oh, that happened because of like something connected to his dad. And it's just like, but it still wasn't right that he did that to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
We would have situations where like we're like having sex and I would just start crying. And he would be like, I wish you wouldn't cry during sex.
Wait, what? Oh my God, no, no. Oh God, that's awful.
Oh yeah, like he would just like he dealt with everything he didn't like with like anger.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I am honestly, I'm having a bit of like listening to you talk about your experience and understanding of asexuality is like I'm confusing myself about my own experience about sexuality right now. Like as soon as you
Once you close to the edge, like you're peering over the edge and going, but what even is? It's okay. It's okay.
because like I'm just I disassociate during sex all the time, but is that just ADHD? I don't know.
Well, for me, it's like I don't disassociate during sex now. Like that was a response. Like thank goodness it was a response that my body did to keep me safe during what was trauma. The fact that I was the person like perpetrating the trauma on me didn't change the fact that I had that safety mechanism. So I think that overlap that you're seeing there comes from traumatic experiences rather than like sexual identity.
Yeah, definitely. And that is kind of what I was thinking, where I'm just like, oh, thanks, it's the trauma. Like,
Thanks, trauma.
I've oh gosh, I'm like I just started a new therapist, so I'm like going through like just kind of like the all right, here's the book. And just like the like shaking her head, but she sent me a thing to fill out and it was just like one of those like, here are all of the possible categories of trauma that you can have. If you haven't gone through it, just hit not available, it's fine. Two that I didn't have on this fucking list. I was just like there were moments where I'm just like, oh, is that traumatic? It's like have you ever seen a relative get in a fist fight with another relative or a close family friend? And I'm just like, yeah. Have you ever seen like a relative arrested? Yeah. And just, is that traumatic? And then just yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Oh.
But anyway,
I think that's another side of it as well, that like, you know, as part of the safety mechanism is like finding that new normal. And so like if you have ongoing trauma, it's like, oh yeah, no, but that happens to everyone, right? And it's only when someone goes, no, that you start going, oh, maybe I should unpack some of this.
Oh my goodness. I've been having moments like that with just like I have a healthy group of friends, and like my roommate has like an almost like too sheltered life. I'm not gonna say sheltered, but like a good life. Like just his parents are supportive artists that live out in the woods and like raised him as a vegetarian. Like he's fine.
Doing great.
His trauma is having no trauma. He's probably don't care about me.
His trauma is that like he's got to listen to all the people around him and go, oh my God.
Yeah, there are things like I'll be talking, but like this casual thing, like, oh, I was talking to my dad and this horrible thing was said, and he's just like, like what if it is okay?
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna cheat again and choose number 2 because this is relevant to what we're talking about. Not never have I ever had someone assume I was a victim of sexual assault because of my sexual identity.
Mm-hmm. Yup. Yup, 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 yup. I'm drinking for that one.
Oh yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's really interesting actually. Like how quickly people will cross that bound of, like, I don't know, politeness when they're like starting to get to know you, because it often happens really early. Like if someone's like, hey, I'm interested to get to know you a bit better, and then like when you're like, oh, and I am asexual, they're like, oh wow, so like were you abused as a kid? And it's like, just stop a minute and think about what you've just done there, because like if I haven't been, that is a huge assumption that you have just made, like lumping my like sexual orientation with like horrible things that might have happened. And if it has happened, like you're just like gonna drag that up without even like, hedging it in anything, without even like a trigger warning. Like what are you doing? You barely know me. And it seems to happen quite a lot. And I think part of that is that asexuality kind of, it has only really been recognized as not a medical condition in our lifetimes. I think, I don't know my dates on this, but somewhere between like 2000 and 2005, I think, was when it finally got included in kind of medical journals as like, this might be a thing that your patients have. This might be a sexual orientation rather than like something that is broken and needs to be fixed. Yeah. So I think there is still, it's, slowly filtering into general understanding, this kind of, this idea separate from trauma. I think trauma is, I kind of hate to say it, but trauma is a largely universal thing. Like it's certainly, it's a really common thing. Like lots of people experience trauma, and it's very difficult often to extricate like what that influences within your life, because it's threaded through so much. And there are definitely people who would say that like trauma that they have experienced feeds into their understanding of themselves as asexual. And there are definitely people who are like, no, like I have trauma, but like it doesn't link to my sexual identity at all. And I think, yeah, it's a complex thing, but the two are separate, just kind of woven.
Yeah, that
it's true for everyone, regardless of regardless of like your sexual orientation, trauma is going to have an impact on that, because it has an impact on so much in your life. And whether that becomes that like you withdraw from certain things, or you try and find like better models to override the trauma, or recreate scenarios where that trauma is like reversed and you're in a position of power, or again like turning to things like kink, where you can find places to explore that in a safer way. I think these are things that are universal to lots of different groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, wall of text. I have opinions on this.
Yeah. I'm always like I've my first I guess like, yeah, the first person I met who identified as asexual was also extremely sex repulsed.
Yes.
And I find like that was a generalization I made because my first experience. And then I met another then through the same friend group, I met my second asexual who would like go to parties and make out with people. And I was just like, I'm confused.
Yep. Yup. It's there's a broad spectrum of experience there. And like it's often not a fixed thing. Like for me, I sort of sit somewhere on the dial between like sex neutral and sex repulsed. So like sometimes I'm like, I am indifferent to this as like an option to do today. And then sometimes it's like, no, no, absolutely not. Don't want to be touched. Don't even want to talk about these kinds of things. Nope, not happening today. So yeah, there's a wealth of experience within like the title of asexual.
Yeah.
Just topping up my drink. So
yeah, awesome. Oh yeah, of course. I've just been taking really small sips because I. Right. Finally rolling again. Ooh. Number 5. Never have I ever felt like I missed out on some parts of my life because my experience was different.
Ooh. Ooh. I think I'm gonna say no with an asterisk. So a little sip.
A little sip.
So I think because I came to this label quite late in my life, that and because like I really kind of like tried to fix myself, that I don't think I missed out on anything within the kind of cisgendered heteronormative understanding of what life experience is. But I wonder, I do wonder a lot how different my life would have been if I'd known about asexuality when I was a teenager. Like, what kind of school experience might I have had? Like, what kind of anxieties might not have been there, and then how would that have affected how I grew up? Like, I went through 3 years of drama school, you know, dealing with having to like portray sexual acts that like I didn't understand and didn't desire and couldn't like link with emotionally. And I wonder how that would have changed. But kind of at that point you start, you know, like that way madness lies. So yeah. I don't know. I think I would say I've covered a lot of ground. And it's not so much have I missed out, it's just like what would the differences have been? Yeah,
I can relate to that because like I like had friends and had all of these things. I went to prom but it's just like I was hella gay and in love with my best friend. Like I was just like I was that gay kid in high school. Had like I think everyone knew I was a gay and I had no idea because like it's just how it works.
It's so funny you're saying that now. I went to prom with my best friend, who I found out later was gay, but like there was no even thought of like it being a romantic thing. We went together because it's like, well, you need to have someone to go to prom with, and so let's go with someone that we actually like and it won't be awkward.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Yeah, I went with like a group of friends and like we all had a boyfriend and we all hated each other's boyfriends. We're all gay now.
Yeah.
Like, my friend group in high school was still the group of gays, but none of us were out.
That's amazing.
Now we've all like reconnected and we're all gay.
You just found each other through like, I don't know, some higher level vibration that was waiting.
Yes. So yeah, prom was a time because it was just like me being like, I want to hang out with, you know, but I have to hang out with my boyfriend, but I want to like, you know, the girls should all dance together.
Oh, proms are strange.
Yeah. I went to, when I was in grade 10, I went to my friend's prom, and that was the most, that was the more fun prom that I went to because I didn't know anyone. I just got drunk and danced.
Oh, yes, yes. And there's local to where I am. I don't know if they do it regularly, but certainly like it was a thing that happened. They did a queer prom for anybody who, like, any age, it didn't matter, like anyone who had not been able to go to their prom as their true self for whatever reason, come and celebrate like in this place at this time. Come and be who you want to be, bring whatever partners you want to bring, celebrate the way that you want to celebrate. And that was such a lovely thing.
That is, I hear of those proms popping up, and I love them so much. I haven't I'm prommed out. I'm glad I did too. But like it's one of those, like, if I had a partner who was just like, oh, this would mean something to me, I'd be like, oh hell yeah, what kind of updo? Pick a color. I will wear a gown, like, or a tux. I do not care. I will make you feel beautiful.
Yeah.
I guess that's the perk of dating a hair and makeup artist, is just like, oh, giddy up. You want to dress up?
You get to be beautiful, let's do it.
We're going all out, and you have no choice because you are representing me. Sure.
All right, what else have we got? I don't know where we're at now. Like, what have we got left?
Like 5 questions left. So,
oh my god.
This is another one we've already touched on. So we're at that point in the series or the show. Never have I ever overcompensated my sexuality.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Again, like I say, I think being a performer, like there's kind of a natural inclination that way anyway. And when you don't have an idea of separating the romantic from the sexual, and you're in relationships with people who don't work with separating the romantic from the sexual, there's a real kind of like, I like you and I don't want you to feel bad and I don't want you to feel undesirable, and so like I'll fix it. It's my problem, not your problem. Oh, and like the truth is we're in a relationship together, which means that this is our problem and it's one that we find ways to solve, and there are many different paths to solving that issue.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a good way to look at it, because it's so easy just to get stuck in your own head about how everything that you're going through is your problem and you're going through it alone. Like, even happen like as I'm in my first healthy relationships at 28, and I have these partners that I will like talk to them about things, and they go, let's explore that. Let's talk about that. I want to invite you to give me the chance to work on that with you. Like I had I don't know if I would call it a fight, but it was like I had like a heated conversation with my girlfriend, and I was terrified through it, and she was just like, hey, like this isn't like I just, your emotions are really big right now, and I'm seeing that, and I just want to do a check-in and just like let you know, like I just feel like it's not as big as you might be feeling. And she just like, cause like she's just amazing and good at being like, hey, I can see that you're spiraling, and I'm just like, yeah. And this like amazing thing, like I said, like both of my partners are just like, hey, you're not doing well, let's talk about that, and we talk about it together. And I get so just like with Rebecca, she just will talk me through things, and like with the heated conversation fight that we had, it was just this like she just called me out on, like, not even called me out, like she's like, hey, I can recognize that you're getting really stressed, let's talk about that, let's talk about where this is coming from instead of the cause. Because like, there are things like where it's just like, you're upset about something, it doesn't matter if I have a solution to it or not, you're upset, we have to talk about what that is coming from, and how we can fix that before we can fix a problem.
Oh, yes. Yes. Would that all relationships were like this?
Yeah, it's this dating in your late 20s thing. It's like people either are like really, really screwed up or like they've learned because they screwed up.
Yep.
It's like the people like they're the couples that like get together when you're young and then you either just like suck your whole life and that's fine, or you do this really cool thing where like you learn and you grow together, which is what my girlfriend and her wife have done, and like they're amazing. They just like they've been together since they were 17 for 17 years. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but yeah, they're like I I ship my girlfriend and her wife so hard.
That's so lovely. And yeah, like this is the thing. I think you really hit the nail on the head there, that it's like it's about finding ways within relationships that you help each other to grow and like look after each other and support each other. Because we all start a bit rubbish, you know, none of us are like good at this from the beginning. And so to have those opportunities to work with your partners and become better humans is just the best thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've had conversations with my boyfriend when he's getting like anxious, and I'm just like I am aware that you get anxious. That's okay. And right now, let's just focus on what we need to do in this moment. It's okay that you have anxiety. You don't have to feel guilty about me having to deal with your anxiety. Like it's a part of you that I already accept. It's a part of you that I'm like it's already something that I love about you. Like I'm here. Let's grow together and be awesome together.
Yeah, it's not your problem, it's our problem. It's that I think one of the things that we really get this from is like that trope in fiction where someone's like, I have to deal with this problem alone, my partner would never understand. And every time this comes up now, like me and my partner are like, no, be honest with them, don't do this. And it's like it's just to build drama. And then, like, every time this happens, you start looking at it now. Every time this happens, everything goes horribly wrong. But, like, we haven't learned.
The only problem in, like where it's just, like when the decision is made for plot. Like, it's something when, like, there's, like, an ultimatum or, like, some kind of story thing where it's just like, okay, fine. You wrote a way to make it less lazy. But if it's, like, and it's just for drama, I get mad. I get so mad. And it doesn't matter how good the show is. They all do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Polyamory and communication solve all of your problems on television.
Just go and talk to your partner. Go and talk to your partner. You will have like just as dramatic a conversation, and like you'll teach people better stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? The plot will move along quicker and it might be more interesting.
Yeah. Like it's certainly like at the very least, this would be like stories that we don't get to see as often. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah, that's what I would love to have explored. Like I would like it's less interesting to watch a healthy relationship, but it's clearly having a negative impact on us to constantly be surrounded by drama, because it feels like people have to constantly be on and looking for something, where events have to happen. Every moment needs to be more and more significant.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes life just happens.
Yeah.
like one thing that I've been like just kind of realized lately is like not every moment needs to be mine.
Oh boy, yes, that is a good wisdom. Gosh. Yeah. And I think performers particularly struggle with that one.
Definitely. Or it's just like it, I could do this, I could say this, I could add to it. Like I'm that person in class where I'm in a social working program, and we'll like go through something, and then I'll be like, I have a story for that, and I have an example of when I did that. I have a good and I always mean well, because I'm just like, when I learned this lesson, I found that this was helpful for me, and I find that this and I just I'm doing it to try to help people. But again, not everyone has my same learning style, and it just can probably, and then I also have to dabble between the anxiety of, am I being helpful or annoying? And I just ask people in the class, do I talk too much? And everyone's like, no, we love you. And I'm just like, okay, but you do all hate me, right? And it's just anxiety.
Oh, all right. What else have we got?
All right. That went too far. Ooh, never have I ever felt like my gender experience shouldn't exist.
Ooh, ooh, that my gender experience shouldn't exist. I think I'm gonna drink for that. In terms of, I feel like I've definitely had experiences where I felt like this shouldn't exist for like me. That it's like I totally understand that there are other people who feel this way, and I have friends who feel this way, and I support them. But like in terms of coming around to the idea that like I am a non-binary person, that was a bit of a bumpy road of being like, no, but wait, but no, but how do I make this work? Again, I think little Amy had a much better idea about this, because like when I was very small, there was a thing you said a couple of weeks ago on Serious and Sober that I was like, yes, this was my experience. Little Amy was not a girl. And so like people called her a tomboy, but it wasn't that. Like she knew that she wasn't a girl, and so kind of when I guess maybe I'm a bit more like a boy then, because she didn't have the language to know that there was anything beyond that. And then growing up, that kind of got muddied for me, because I think I was going like, do I not want to be like a girl because that's how I feel inside, or do I not want to be a girl because like society has taught me that women are inferior and that's not where I want to be and it's not how I recognize myself? And so going through that kind of understanding made me sort of be more okay with my like assigned gender, and then like coming right back out the other side of that, having been okay with being asexual, to be like, well, now that I've started looking at these kinds of things in how I feel, I can start looking again at that like thing where it's like I don't feel quite like a girl, but I don't really feel like a boy. And like sometimes it seems like I push more one way and the other, and like, oh God, oh, I know, stop. I just dealt with the asexuality thing. Put it back in the box. And so yeah, that was, I think I struggled with it personally. But yeah, it's never been, well, I say it's never been, certainly once I had language for it, it was never that like it shouldn't exist, just that like I wasn't allowed it. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's still one that's like, that's settling. I think it's a tricky one. I don't know if you find this as well, because it's sort of, because it doesn't sit very clearly in one camp or another. You get some days where it's like, I am very confident in this, I'm very secure in being non-binary, and then you get some days where it's like,
Yeah, absolutely. I have so many days where I'm just like, maybe I am just a woman and I'm just traumatized away from gender. And like you were saying, like, because it's just like between like society, and I grew up like around like my mom was a tomboy, or was, and it would be like very like, you don't want to be a girly girl.
Yes, like, oh my gosh, so much like that. I really pulled away from that kind of stereotype. I was like, I hesitate to say it, but I was like, I'm not like those other girls. It's like, well, yeah, it turns out like I wasn't even sitting within that gender bracket. So sure, I guess I wasn't like those other girls.
I love having stories of like looking back and being like when people like, oh, you don't look like a girl, and I'm just like, they were right. They were being mean, but they were right.
Yeah.
Like when I first cut my hair short, I was so afraid of looking gay, or like I didn't want people to think I was a lesbian. I didn't want people to think I was a boy. I didn't even like really know about like transgender being a thing, like or being a word. I was so, like even at like 18, 19 years old, I knew that you know, some of the words used in Rocky Horror were inappropriate, but I didn't know what the words I was supposed to use were. So I was I remember walking down the streets of Toronto with my friend when we first moved there, and there and we walked by someone, and I just go, oh, he was really pretty. And she looks at me and she was like, I'm pretty sure they prefer to be called she. And I was just like, how am I supposed to know that if someone doesn't tell me? So my argument at the time was, I'm just going to assume someone's gender until they tell me otherwise. Almost right.
So close, like so close.
Listen to other people when they tell you what it is, but like, no, they it out, kid.
Yeah, no, I think the things that that really like made it more clear for me were while we were in lockdown. I used to have like much shorter hair than I do now, and while we were in lockdown, I was experimenting with growing my hair out and being like, how do I feel about this? What? And I was at a point where I was really low and really like, I don't like how I look. I don't recognize myself in the mirror. I don't know who this person is. And I'd been watching, what was it? Some amazing documentary on Netflix about sort of like the history of trans representation in the media. And I came out of the other side of that and I was like, I think I want to like get a binder or something. And I was like really like stressing out about it because I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed this. I don't know if I have permission for this. And I talked to my partner who was like, just buy a fucking binder. Just no one else needs to know. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's not. And I got like the cheapest thing I could find on eBay that was like going to get there quickly. And I put it on and I'm wearing it at the moment. And it's just like that first moment of putting it on was like, oh my God, yes. Oh, yes. This feels more like me, that I can see myself now within that space. And yeah, that was a big thing. And one of my friends on Facebook put up like a list of like, it was a pronouns meme, like, what things can you call me? What things am I happy with? What things am I not happy with? And I've been going through just sort of being like, yeah, I'm okay with all of these. And actually I quite like it when I'm called he, like not all the time, but like I'm okay with this. And oh my gosh. Yep. That's definitely some pretty compelling evidence there that I am okay with all of this.
Yeah, and like I'm the opposite, where I just like would rather not have gender associated with me. Like there's things like like during sexy time, I don't mind being called like sir and like certain titles.
Yes,
but that's mindset. That's a time. But like if someone's gonna ma'am me in the street, I'm gonna have a react. Like I'm not gonna be like, how dare you, because like that's just like an unnecessary thing. Like just like I get like with me at 19 walking down the streets of Toronto, like people don't know, people aren't educated in what's proper, and sometimes I just don't have the spoons to educate everyone who misgenders me.
Yes.
So, when it comes to I call them like fleeting interactions, like servers, bus drivers, like people I'm not going to see again. They can.
You don't have to fight all those things. Yeah, it's not every fight is worth going into there. It's like, yeah, you gotta choose where you put your energy.
Yeah, there was this one time my mom and I went out for breakfast, and like my mom is usually just bad with my pronouns, doesn't uses like my old nickname instead of my new name, and I'm just like, oh, I know you mean well. it's like she's at that point, she's doing her best, and that's cool. And we went out for breakfast. This is like almost a year ago. Wow, time is fake. And just the servers, hey ladies, hi, have you got the ladies? What can I get for you ladies? Every time she comes in, and I'm just like used to it. Like I'm just like it's eye roll, but like it's not but my mom has never experienced that with me before, ever, like since I came out. Like she's just like, should I say something? Like she's just like what do I do? Like she's like every time like she like we're being called ladies, my mom's like posture is getting like better. And it's like, again, it's so funny because she misgenders me so much, but then she gets into like mama bird mode of just like, are you disrespecting my child? Only I can do that.
Your mom is great.
Oh yeah, she actually like her and I like we did like we weren't talking for like a bunch of stuff because of stuff, whatever, and we had like this huge like conversation and like learning moment. So like if you look back on like former episodes of Serious and Sober, you can tell when I was mad at her versus when I wasn't.
Oh,
my mom. And then there are other times where I'm just like, my mom says this and she's funny. Because a very important thing for me to learn is there are no black and whites, only shades of gray.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's another one of those things where it's like, it almost sounds like it should be obvious, but like sometimes you need to be told things, and that's totally okay because that's what learning is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and it's also worth going back round to these things again and going, does this still work? Like, is this still like, does this work for how we want to describe things? And I think that's one of the wonderful things about like being a part of the wider community is that you're always like plugged into that kind of like team, if you like, of like, how can we better describe who we are as people? And that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. So I just peeked at our questions. We have 2 left, but they have been answered.
Oh, so, well.
I'm going to do a check-in with you. Do you want to plow through them or do a check-in now?
If they've been answered, then let's yeah, we'll go over them. We don't need to say the same things again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I wanted to, save your breath. Yeah, so that being said, moving forward, is there anything that you feel that we haven't touched on that you would love for people to understand about asexuality or the non-binary identity? Because we didn't talk too much about non-binary.
We didn't. Although, I mean, to be fair, like I say, I'm still very much within like the early weeds of finding this within myself. So I think something that I would give as a recommendation is, I've written it down, hang on. There is an amazing non-binary author called Meg John Barker. And I think their website is called Rewriting the Rules. But they do amazing books and free resources and zines and stuff like that. And they cover things like sex, gender, bodies, relationships. They are part of a podcast called like Meg, John and Justin. And if anybody is interested in like learning more about exploring kind of any aspect of your relationships, your gender, there are some amazing resources that they have created, which I highly recommend. They've been really helping me going through my consent journey and my non-binary journey.
That's amazing. Be sure to send me links to them, and then I'll just like throw them in all the descriptions and everything. That way everything can be found easily.
I will do.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh gosh. So I forgot to do this at the beginning, but I wanted to quote you because in doing my Googling and research, I watched a video that you're in that BBC Three did that is things you shouldn't say to someone who doesn't have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, you say, I actually did do, I did a clip of it, but then I realized the video might get taken down if I put the clip in because I don't know how copyright works. So, so just in case, I wrote it down.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so. Never have I ever is a terrible game if you don't like having sex.
It really is. Oh gosh, I feel so much for like all the baby aces out there who, like me, have had to sit through awful, awkward evenings at the pub, listening to your friends having an excuse to talk about like the stuff that they're getting up to, where you're like, I'm not doing this, and I'm not even really interested in this, and I don't know how to talk about that yet. Oh.
Yeah, I was introduced to Never Have I Ever as like a kid's sleepover game. So it'd be like Never Have I Ever Gone Parasailing, and then it'd be like the put a finger down version.
Oh, so, that's so sweet. I only ever knew it as the filthy version.
I don't think I've ever actually played the filthy version.
Oh my goodness. I'd say that you're missing out. I don't know.
Maybe I'll do a special episode of series. Oh my gosh, I just had an idea for my birthday. I'll do a sexy episode or something.
Amazing. Yes.
Thursday. I'm in church. Anyway. Yeah, so thank you for suffering through Never Have I Ever with me.
No, thank you so much. This has been my best version of Never Have I Ever that I've ever done. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I guess it's because it's not Never Have I Ever. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Amazing. So thank you so much for staying up till now 2:16 in the morning. And and
my pleasure. It's an absolute joy. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I've never been in another time zone before, so every time I just have to make like a time traveling joke. So oops, I just knocked something down as I said that. Anyway, what's it like in the future?
In the future, it is dark, and there are foxes. But there's also some pretty awesome shortbread biscuits. So yeah, everything to look forward to.
Amazing. I'm excited for my biscuits, and I hope that everyone out there is waiting for their biscuits. They are on their way. It is only 9:17 now, so
there's time. There's time.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get through our present until biscuit time. Thank you again so much, and you're a blessing. You're hilarious, and I hope that everyone finds you through this, because this is cool. And
thank you.
Yeah. And as always, thank you everyone for listening, watching, and paying attention to me, because as we all know, I love attention. And don't be a dick.
Yeah.